Kesh Foundation, an independent, non-profit, non-religious, space-based organization founded by nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Kesh, is introducing to humanity the science of the universe, plasma science. Kesh Foundation develops universal knowledge and space technologies that provide solutions to major global problems, revolutionizing agriculture, health, energy, transportation, materials, and more. The application of plasma science in the form of specially developed plasma reactors and other devices will give humanity the real freedom to travel in deep space. Plasma science exists throughout the whole universe. It is here and it belongs to you. Our knowledge, research, and development regarding the plasma structure has progressed to the point of enabling everyone to participate in the process. Become a creator and understand the work of the universe for the good of humankind on this planet as well as in space. The use of megravs, nanomaterials, GANs, liquid plasma, field plasma, and other plasma technologies have come as a new dawn for humanity to progress and work in harmony with the universe. Conventional technology applications are wasteful, damaging, and cause pollution to the planet and all living beings. Plasma science provides solutions and improves existing methods and use of resources in all aspects that touch the lives of all beings. Plasma is defined by the Foundation as an entire content of fields which accumulate and create matter and is not defined by its physical characteristics like ionization or temperature. Also, with plasma science, we understand how we can convert matter back to the fields. Quoting from Mr. Kesh, MEGRAV stands for magnetic gravitational, which means plasma absorbs or gives. And every plasma has the both. It has give and it has take. And when they can't find the balance, they distance themselves until they find the balance they can give to the others, that they can receive what they want to receive and give further. Certain atoms and molecules release and absorb magnetic or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The Kesh Foundation has developed a way to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment within a resourceful and beneficial new state of transitional matter, which M.T. Kesh named GANs. The first step of the process of the formation of various basic types of GANs is nanocoating metals. This is carried out either chemically by etching, steam coating with sodium hydroxide, or thermally by heating, fire coating by gas burner. During either coating process, gaps between outermost layers of atoms are created. The residual coating is often referred to as nanocoating, defined by the structured layers of nanomaterial, which build up during the creation process of the coating. Nano-coated metal in interaction with other various metal plates in a saltwater solution creates megrav fields. These fields then attract available elements to form a specific GANs, which collects and settles at the bottom of the container. This GANs is formed from independent energized molecules like little suns that can be used in various applications. Conventional science teaches us that what we can't measure does not exist. This led to a separation between science and spirituality. Plasma science combines both of these worlds. The entire universe is made up of magnetical giving and gravitational taking fields. We absorb only those fields we can use, and we emit fields we do not need. After a while, the fields are balanced, creating balanced matters. Imagine there is a technology which can balance your body, emotions, and soul. And because everything is made up of fields, including our emotions, this simple technology easily processes the roots of your disease. Kesh Foundation developed simple methods, ready-to-use materials, and efficient medical health units that work on different field levels to process many existing health conditions and help restore the natural balance in your body. More and more studies are showing that emotion is at the heart of many illnesses. After the use of the plasma coil units, changes in emotional patterns are noticed, and then following this, changes in the physical body occur. We don't cure diseases, but process them by bringing the body to a balanced state in such that the disease cannot exist. This means you can achieve complete emotional and physical balance in relatively short time. People all over the world use GANS and GANS water, plasma water, within different devices and processing methods. The Keshe Foundation offers a full spectrum of information pertaining to GANS and its uses, from solid plasma to liquid plasma to field plasma. Which of the available information, processes, or devices resonates with you? At the same time we open the door to the power of our soul, Keshe technology elevates the soul of the man in order to bring balance to our body, bring balance to our flow of emotions, bring peace to the world, and readiness to open up to the universal community.
The Keshe Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and specialty to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Keshe Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cancer Blueprint Day of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. This is the first of perhaps a weekly series that may occur, and it's Tuesday, April 18th, 2017. We have the title of this particular workshop, Cancer Solution in Exchange for Peace. And this is about a new cancer solution breakthrough being presented by Mr. Keshe. And let's, I think he's ready now. Let's see if we can tune in to Mr. Keshe there. Hello, Mr. Keshe, are you ready?
Yes, good morning, good day to you as usual, whenever you listen to these group of teachings. As you remember, about 2 years ago, we started these blueprint days, where and whenever we see a change of course. And in that respect, at this moment, you want to start a video apparently. In that respect, we have come to the point that there is enough information and knowledge, and there is enough background knowledge and experiment done by scientists on different aspects of the technology. We have to clarify the use of the materials and how they've been used. And this teaching today will start a new course of actions by the Keshe Foundation. One of the biggest problems for humanity is what we call cancer. Cancer has been something whenever and wherever the doctors could not understand the knowledge of the change of the condition of the physicality of the body of the bat. In that process, when the doctors cannot understand it, they call it the cancer. That's all it is. Now we started exploring more and more, understanding more and more in how the cancer actually progresses, how and where and by which methods it is established in the body of man. Over the past 30-40 years, the knowledge of cancer has become fairly tuned to full understanding. And what we understand in Keshe Foundation is very simple. Cancers are produced in 3 ways as far as we can see, maybe 4. One is emotional. This is when the emotion of the man creates a given energy, that energy in interaction with the matter state of the body, it becomes to manifest itself as an entity. We say in a space, you can wish and you will receive. You can put your hand out and have the energy from your soul that by filtering of your wishes, that what it is, you will receive that material. We create the emotion of sorrow. We create the tears. We know the process, but we never knew how actually can be controlled. We create emotion of rejection, and in that process, what we want to reject, we create a material for it to start the process of rejection. In olden days, man knew how even to reject part of his arm and hand and fingers when they were trapped. They could not cut it, but the wish was so strong, like reptiles, they could literally sever the finger or the arms. But this knowledge over time has disappeared in the vocabulary of the knowledge of the man, in the brain of the man. But at the same extent, when the man wishes to create, to reject, to bring about a condition where he wants to see the change, and that change, because it's given by the wish of the man, is so strong that no medicine can fight it. You can use chemotherapy, you can use radiation, you can use anything you like with the present medicine. But you'll find out it'll come back again. Because in the world of medicine today, the world of science has missed the main criterion of the cancer. 95% of the cancer of the man is created by emotion. So in that emotion, in that condition, man subconsciously wants to create a condition that that organ will not be there. Be it prostate, be it breast, be it stomach cancer, be it liver, or whatever we might call it. We never understood, and this is one of the main problems with the present world of science, that cancer, majority of it, is emotionally based. We wish it, and our wish is so powerful that no medicine in the world can overcome it. They give you chemotherapy, they give you everything else, and after a few years it comes back. Because in the present world of medicine, the emotion of the man is not calculated. We have not considered it. With this new technology where we tackle the source of cancer, and that is why you see so much rapid changes. That's why we put these cancer teachings on, is that now for the first time we understand, in majority of the cases, 99.5% of the cases of cancer, the physical change in the structure of the body of the man is wished by the emotion of the man through the source of the energy of the soul of the man. We wish it subconsciously and we create it directly. Then we come to see what we have created. It's very much when we wish to have a longer finger to become a musician for a specific instrument, the same way we create these organs, these materials inside ourselves. With a new technology which we offer and is on the table, which we'll discuss, and you will see some effects of it, and some papers which are delivered by what we call a standard medical trial system, you see that the explanation is that we use certain what we call gases in nano state of the matter we call GANs, where in fact no perfect system has ever been created to use or produce one type of gases. In all the gases produced, especially with CO2, there is a minute amount of gases nano state of zinc, which that amount of zinc within the structure of the CO2 plays this game. The emotion of the man, the neurosystem of the man works through zinc in a gaseous state. So why this technology works good is because in one way you change the energy of the tumor, on the other hand you elevate the soul of the patient through the elevation of the emotion through zinc. So this is what you see one of the results, because now we understand it, we understand the process, we understand the situation, how it's risen. Why do you wish to have a breast cancer? Why do you wish not to have a breast cancer, but the wish for your child not to suffer the pain you suffered in childhood, or the child does not go through what you went in the childhood that you could be, you don't want to the suffering to carry on? What's the best way? What do you give life? A woman gives life through the breast to feeding a child. So we see the cancer in the breast. We see the same thing when there is a conflict with the father and the son. Majority of the time we see prostate cancer. Where does the father give life to a child? Prostate is a player in the game. So he wants to get rid in what caused him the problem, that he'll never make the same problem again. Now we understand a lot of diseases are what is known as psychosomatic, which means psychologically through emotion we create the physicality of the disease. Cancer is another one. And the more we understand, the more we realize the psychosomatic condition of the cancer can be changed in two ways. We can hammer it, we can bombard it, radiation, chemotherapy or anything else, or we can go the new way, which is sort the problem at its root, which is the emotion. Once you sort the problem at its root, you elevate the emotion, that with it you allow different fields to reach or to be reached by the physicality. The cancer is just a technicality to be see the change of. This is important for us. This is why in the program today and in the coming weeks you will see a strange phenomenon. You will see things which is in the present world of medicine is absolutely impossible. And this is the reason, because for the first time we go to the essence, the majority of the cancer positions, which means body wants to produce something new, that the mistake of the past cannot be repeated. But in that producing accumulates the material, and in that process creates cancer. Cancers are literally done in a very simple way. What we see is that, can you see the whiteboard, or do I stop sharing and go on the whiteboard?
Stop sharing, please. Thank you.
Okay. I go on the whiteboard, we share. is not allowing me to go on the whiteboard. Okay, we're on it. So what we see is very simple. The body of the man has his emotion. In achieving that emotion, it creates a field, which interaction with where the field is received with that emotion leads to the point of new tangibility of the matter. But the body of the man has a given content. It has copper, it has zinc, it's got calcium and potassium, it's got everything else material which the body of the man carries. So when the strength of the emotion filtered from the soul of the man, in coming to the matter, solidifies to the center of the cancer. So what we see, and Dr. Rodriguez and other doctors will tell you, is up to now when you go to the doctor, doctors are not really concerned about what elements are elevated in your blood. But with the new technology we have to, because now we understand if the strength of the fields which is filtered from the soul of the man through the emotion of the man comes to be at the strength of, let's say, zinc or copper, that material in that point becomes the seed of the oyster of the cancer. So every cancer has a center. And in that process, once it started, the immune system of the body of the man tries to get rid of what is created by the emotion and by physicality. So now we get what you call immune system attack, trying to disturb or destroy the center, the material which the emotion of the man has created. In that process, what we see as it carries on, further steps come into play. And what happens now is start oystering. And we see the growth of the cancer, the tumor. And if this condition is repeated, because now that it has managed to survive, it gets replicated in other part of the body of the man. So we have two choices with the new technology, is to deplete the oyster and then remove the wish of the man, the center element. Or by looking at the blood results in the element sector, we see what material is elevated. And that material which is elevated, it gives you the indication what is made from the seed of the cancer cell. In single tumors, doctors can tell you who have experimented with the Keshe Foundation technology, you can remove this cell. It's a specific way of producing certain systems which the energy transfer between the systems allows the depletion of the energy of the material, and once the mother seed of the pearl has disappeared, the cancer has no strength. What we see is the tumor goes black. And then when it goes black, it's a matter of time that the immune system of the body of the man will more or less deplete and eats up everything. You will see one of these in a few minutes. It was shown in the Rome conference by Dr. Rodriguez. For the first time, we'll show it in public. It is unimaginable what you will see. Those who have seen this video, it's been on the internet sometimes, is a major achievement with the new technology. It's a plasma, it's understanding of change of not only the environment of the man, changing the emotion of the man, and then allowing the depletion of the cancer to a normal entity that itself disappears out and it gets absorbed by the body of the man. In that process, sometimes we see the rejection of the pearl, the center of the pearl. We have other cancers which are created by accident. Sometimes the same process, instead of the emotion, comes by hitting. Something hits your body. We see this quite a lot, especially recently in what is known as car accidents. heavy car accidents create the same kind of center, which then it starts the cancer and it goes through. There is another cancer which is not a cancer, but has been part of the man's progress in the evolution of his life. We evolve, and in that evolvement of the life, to fit into the new environment, our body cannot operate or does not see how to handle the new changes. What we see now, in many cases, part of the evolution of cancer comes with women. Because if you look up to 100 years ago or plus, when women menopause was around about 25 to 35. Now in more nations where we see more national security and we see more sharing of the burden of the growing of the children by the society, this figure of menopause for women is getting pushed to 50s, 60s, and 70s. I have one, thank you very much. And this, in some women, which cannot go through because of the emotion which comes with it of the change, we see some what we call evolutionary cancers. These are very hard to handle. These are extremely to be able to process, and these count for between 1 to 3 to 5% of the cancers we see nowadays. The accidental cancer is random. There is no data for it, but the more and more high-speed accidents we see, 5, 10, 15 years later, we see the beginning of cancer. And when you go back to the patient and you ask them, they say, yes, I had an accident in such a place. We've seen this. Now we put this chart, part of the chart of the cancer system. What is important for us today, we touch on mainly how the emotional cancer has been handled. You will see Dr. Rodriguez, in a way that it can be distributed on the internet, will show the process of cancer reversal. This is one of the impossibilities of world of science. If you would have seen, or it could have been imagined even 5 months ago, there is such a thing possible, the doctors would have been going crazy telling you this is impossibility. But with in the hand of the highly competent and knowledgeable doctor like Dr. Rodriguez, you see the change, because he understands the totality. He's not just handling the tumor, but changing the environment, creating a condition of breathing, creating a condition of elevation of the soul, which through elevation of the soul and in a way changing the expectation of the emotion by raising the filter strength of the emotion, that filter does not exist anymore. So now there is no reason to keep a communication between the brain of the man and the tumor. And in that process, where brain has no more contact in the physicality of the conformation of the existence tumor, tumor becomes redundant because it has lost the reason which was created. Now, if the strength was at 2, with the elevation of the emotion at 3, there is no room for 2. So you change the environment of the emotion, the filter strength, what we call it, and then you see the change in the position. Now, once you elevate the soul, is a matter of physicality for the body of man to do with something which has suddenly appeared here. Use the immune system, use everything else, reduction in cells, creation of new cells, and then we'll see the changes. What we would like to do is to go to Dr. Rodriguez, because they say the proof of a science is in black box theory, which means we keep a black box with the body of a woman. Dr. Rodriguez will take it. And if any doctor in the world can tell us how such a thing is possible, then we have a new magician. And that magic is the world of plasma. We show this first, and then we go into the next step. We have a number of people who want to show or explain how they have overcome cancer, and how we know in one case the wish of the person is so overwhelming that she does not want, or he does not want to be able to carry on, because there is something in the background which is only to her and her only, or him and him only, that wishes the termination the way she likes. We cannot override the wish of a man. Does not matter what we use. Die shall not steal. A physician cannot override, but can elevate the soul of the patient, that the patient sees the new light in life. And if that new light does not satisfy the condition, she can take a new course. I would like to ask Dr. Rodriguez in the background to join us, if he's available, please.
I am Mr. Guest. How are you, Mr. Guest?
Good morning, Your Excellency. Dr. Rodriguez is one of the heads of the new Universal Council, which has become the Earth Council, heading the South America. And he is one of the leaders in the health of the Keshe Foundation. Would like to introduce yourself, and I'll go silent, and then I'll take over when you finish.
Yes, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Vildoso. I'm a doctor. Belongs to the group of doctors who work together in prov of humanity, finding and looking for new technologies in order to change the process of any disease. So here I'm going to, may I start the presentation, Mr. Kesh?
Yes, you share. I stopped sharing. It's your screen.
Okay. Okay, this is a case of breast cancer treated by plasma technology. I'm going to talk a little bit of myself, my background. I'm completed medical school in Mexicali, Mexico. Then, well, I made a specialty in general surgery and plastic and reconstructive surgery in Mexico City, Mexico. I have afterward had a fellowship in plastic and reconstructive surgery in Madrid, Spain. Then I continue with another fellowship in plastic and reconstructive surgery in Lucca, Italy. Then I practiced this beautiful specialty for 30 years. Now I'm decided to continue this new beautiful technology. Okay, I'm going to present this patient as a 36 years old female who has a breast cancer in the lower inner quadrant. As a core biopsy results, he has a biopsy, and it found there was an invasive ductal carcinoma, nuclear grade 3. This patient decided not to follow the traditional way of treatment with the chemotherapy or radiotherapy or anything. She wanted to find something different, but she came for me 6 months after she was she had started to have a problem. So after I had a biopsy, the breast started to grow in a week that size. Obviously had an infection. That's what was put him on antibiotics and didn't respond. So he came to me and asked for help. She came to the my office and put herself in the unit, says, to see or to feel if this environment will help her. The beautiful thing about this is as soon as she got inside the environment that I will explain later on and show you the machine she went into it, she started to feel better and the pain disappeared instantly. So when she came here, it was no energy, high fever, and pain, and unable to sleep. And the first thing she had being inside the machine has the pain disappeared, and for the first time she was able to sleep after several months, 6 months. She started feeling well. So she's inside of her. She felt that this technology that will help her. But before, so this also, she came with a blood test only presenting signs of infections, and the anemia that she had requires a blood transfusion and many times that I will show you later on how that process happened. So before I started to explain about this this case, I'm going to show you the way we address now with the new technology, how we address the diseases, how we address every patient. So we've divided in 4 steps. The first one is physicality. Every doctors, we as myself, we work all the time on the physicality, removing tumors, surgery, pills, drugs, everything, but only addressing the physicality. The energy, as a doctor, the only thing that we know about energy is the energy comes from the brain, which is electrical pulse, which is part of the physicality. The way we see energy is totally different. The emotions, I will explain as well how the emotions are important in developing any disease. So most of the doctors don't address this one, and at the end, also the soul. The soul for the doctors means it's just, with all respect to all of them, but for most of them, they mean soul only or related to the image to religion. They don't address this part of the body. So the way we address now any disease or any condition, the physicality is first to know the elements of the body. This is the elements of the body. 27 elements of the body. 96% of the body has is formed by 4 elements, which is oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And we have to understand, not only 96% of the body is made of these elements, but also the 96% of the plants, 96% of the body of the animals are made of these elements. And the rest are 27 elements. So we don't need, if we put ourselves or keep ourselves balanced with these elements, we can change anything in the body. We don't need millions of medications that are in the field. So if we understand how the body is made of, what kind of elements are made have the body, or what kind of metals are involved in any disease, we can change the process of any disease. So to understand why those elements, we have to understand how the life is made of this world. So we see outside the sun, actually the sun that we see on the light, but it's not a sun, it's the light that happen between the interactions of the field of the magnetic gravitational field of the sun and the magnetic gravitational field on Earth, and we see this light here. Then and that interaction of fields bring those elements to Earth, which is carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. So that's what we need, what we get from the sun. Those elements, we are made of those elements. So this technology duplicates this effect. We can bring with this technology these elements in the environment. That's what we do. So the body composition is 96% of those elements: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. So, and on the other hand, is when we understand that the body is made of, the body has the 75% of the body is made of water, H2O. Once we understand these elements, that with the interaction of this amino acids or proteins in the body with the water, releases hydrogen, which is the energy of the body. All the time as we speak in the sea. So the body needs energy. How the energy comes from the body? When we dream, when we eat, how this energy comes to the body? It's releasing this energy. It's like an example I give you. I'm going to give you an example. When we are thirsty and we have been working a lot and we need some kind of, we need a little water. A lot of water because we have been sweating a lot, so we need water and we feel weak. And as soon as we drink a little sip of water, normally we think if we drink water, we have to go through the mouth, to the esophagus, to the stomach, then the bloodstream, and then take the water to every single part of the cells. But actually, what a body needs is the energy. So as soon as we take the water and it touches the tongue, it released it changed that water and plasma and release the oxygen, and it goes to every part of the body. And I will explain how this happened. The energy, the way we see the energy on the body is sort of different. There's a lot of devices in everywhere that can show that we have an energy. They can prove that we have an energy around our body. The Killian technology devices. There's a lot of devices. Even people can see the energy, and we have in a group of doctors, incredible person whose name is Klaus Trier. He can see energy of the body. So that energy is part of us. So the way I understand this, the way to understand this, as I said before, when we are thirsty and we need water, we think that we have every single cell of the body need that water. So we have to drink a lot to water and wait minutes or hours to get that sour to every single cell. But as soon as we got a little sip of water, we feel the effect, because that effect is like it goes that plasma that releases of that hydrogen in that environment and touches every single cell in the body. We are in the plasma state, and we have proven that the body is a plasma organ, not just the physicality as we thought it is. It's a different way. Once we understand how the body works, what the body is, and the process, everything, the way of treatment is going to change dramatically. So we have that energy around the body. It connects every single cells in the body. Well, I'm going to give you another example. If you start breathing for 20 seconds or a minute, you're dying for oxygen to your body. But as soon as you have a little sip of, a little of air, as soon as you have air, it passes through the back of your tongue, you feel energy. You feel all the oxygen, every part of your body. How is that possible? Because according to the medicine, the way we learn is, if you need oxygen in your body, you start breathing. That means every single cell of the body needs oxygen. So we have to breathe. They have to go through the lungs, to the alveoli, and change and pass that oxygen to the red cells and bring it to every single cell. It takes a lot of time to do that. But because we have this field of energy around our body, that when that air passes through the tongue, through the back of the trunk, changes to the plasma and release that oxygen to and it goes to every single cell of the body instantly, because we have that field around us. So, and another way, the way of thinking is the emotions, the way Mr. Kess explained. According to the medicine, we said, okay, 98% of diseases are psychosomatic. What does it mean, psychosomatic? We put everything on stress. And stress is a very vague word. It means nothing. With all the respect, it means nothing. But stress for us, for doctors, means that there's some kind of hyperactivity in the brain or in the body, and we have to calm down this body in order to release the stress, and the body will change. But we haven't seen anything change treating the patient this way. So what we give into the patient is something to shut down the brain, to block the brain, and instead of addressing the emotions, we just say the stress, giving some kind of hyperactivity, giving pills to shut down the brain, to calm down the body and relax, and that will fix or would change the environment. The body will be able to heal. And we don't see that, because stress, as I said, is a very vague word. I would say emotions. Every single disease, or most of diseases, are involved in emotions. Let me give another example. I will explain what kind of emotions is involved in this cancer, but I will give another one, like the people with Alzheimer, people that what happened in those people, we see, according to the medicine, the brain is dying, and see black spots in the MRI of the brain, and see, oh, it's dying, so it's disconnecting to the body to the reality. But actually, what happened is, and emotionally, those people don't like to live and the life they live in, the environment they live in, the house. They changed this. Some of the patients, those people were moved from one country to another house to another one, or different families. They changed and they don't like that environment, so they're starting to block themselves to living in that reality. And inside the brain, the subconsciousness, it says, okay, I don't want to leave this, so they started to shut down the brain. So that's why they see the black spot in the brain. They started to not to be connected to the present because they live in the past. So inside of the brain, they are shutting down the brain, the body, because they don't like to leave this present or this life. As we have seen, I know this is not a part of this presentation, but we have seen with treating this patients, the emotional and the change in the environment, people come back to the reality. People have seen there are people that are lying down in the bed for months without blinking the eyelids or the eyes, and not even being able to eat, just feeding them to the tube, to the nose. So, and as soon as we started to put these patients on this environment and given these GANs to treat their GANs, people come back to reality. It's an incredible effect that we have seen. So the emotions, it affects the whole body. So, and the fourth level of seeing the process of any disease is a connection to the soul. As I said, for many people, soul is only related to religions, but we are souls. We are not the body. We are souls living in this environment, this life. So when we are able to connect to the souls, it means that there's no emotions involved in this, and we feel just unconditional love. That means that nothing bothers us, nothing bothers this body, so the body heals. It's incredible. And that's the beautiful this technology that help us to get rid of those emotions and touch our heart, touch the soul of ourselves, and be able to change everything. So how do we apply this technology? We have a protocol that we have created this in the medical team. That's every patient we do this. In every patient, even if it had cancer, any disease, diabetic, high blood pressure, whatever disease the body has, or every person, we address this way. So we have to address the emotions. We use the breathing device. So every single person that we treat, as he said, most of the diseases, 95% or 98% of diseases are involve some kind of emotion. So we treat that things on every patient given these devices. Drinking water as well, drinking against water to bring balance to the body, using the health unit that I will show you, this health unit that we use in target the organ and every single organ. So that means that when we are in these machines, that health unit that we call them, it doesn't mean that once you are inside, you're going to heal yourself. That's going to start having some changes inside the body, but we have to target the body. So we have to understand what part of the body has a problem, either as the body has more of the element that we have to remove them, like a cancer, or that how Mr. Guest was explaining, he has the seed of this cancer has some kind of metal, so it means that that's a lot of elements on that body, so we can change that environment, or either we can reconstruct something in the body, like if it's a lack of any elements that the body cannot bring balance, it cannot heal itself, cannot change or cannot repair. So we give them those elements that the body needs in order to repair any part of the body, any organ in the body. So the way we treat it is, so the first step is breathing device. So we target the emotions. We use the devices that we use gases, the zinc gases, the water gas of zinc and water gas of CO2 at 50% and 50%. Mix it, so we target the emotions. Once this is, if we put a person inside any of the health unit or given GANs without treating the emotions, I would say it is so hard to bring balance to their body. Their body will not be able to reconstruct itself to change that problem, that disease. So we have to address, I would say 100% all the people that we treat, we have to address the emotions, all of them. So we use it. I myself, I created this one, and there's a lot of devices. A lot of beautiful people around the world is creating different devices in order to get this environment of zinc on CO2. I use this tube. I myself, I had a tube, a 5/8 tube, and another 1 1/4 tube, wrapping the whole big tube. The small tube is filled up with the GANs of CO2 and zinc GANs, so the people breathe that GANs inside. When people comes to me and says, how would I know that it's energy inside? And I have 2 bowls that has 2 plastic bowls that has liquid zinc and CO2 GANs inside, and allow them to touch them and put them closer together, and they feel the energy like a magnets. They feel the energy. So they've proven that it's energy interacting in between those GANs. So I give in every single person that I treat, I give this breathing device. And as soon as they start breathing, I mean, for a few days later, they're starting to feel a lot better. The emotion is not, they know they have emotions, but they don't affect, that doesn't affect anymore. So they said, yes, I know they have those problems, but they don't affect them anymore. I feel more relaxed. I'm able to sleep. I'm able to think better, because we have to understand, we create our own reality. In the midbrain, when we have access to the midbrain, we can create anything we want. If we have problems, if we have drama in our life, we created this drama in our life. So we have problems, those emotions, we created this, we change this body according to the emotions, to the reality that we wanted to create. So whatever we have in the midbrain, we create this. So it's like how many people, how many masters and teachers we have right now to teach us how to create reality, that we have to focus on something beautiful and love and in different environments. But if we have so much drama in the brain, we create the drama. We cannot create a different reality. So this is like the way I see it. In order to get to the midbrain, we have so much emotions, like having a furnace or a water, a bottle net. It's a small window to access to the midbrain, but as I said, it's a funnel. We have so many emotions that covers that window. So we have to get rid of those emotions in order to get to that midbrain and create a different reality. So this technology that's using of these GANs, water GANs of zinc and CO2, swept, remove, clean that path. So we have a clean, open access to the midbrain until we can create a different reality. See, if we don't stop thinking about that drama creates the disease disappears. We have so many doctors in the world that start treating the emotions of the people, and we see the better results than in any traditional medicine. So because it works, we create the diseases, whatever disease is, not only cancer, any diseases. So we have access to that midbrain to remove those dramas, and we can create anything. So that helps a lot. So drinking water goes well. We're using a CO2 GANs water to have the cells connections, the nervous system, and also to treat the emotions. We have the zinc water GANs to target the emotions. We're also using the copper oxide water GANs to stimulate the muscles, ligaments, disinfection, etc. We can use every single element. We can create any elements that we need to in order to bring balance to the body and change to help the body to regenerate anything. Also, we use CH3 for energy. And the way it works is so many things. A lot of people ask me, so how this CH3 gives energy? We understand that we have to interact with the body. So when we have, remember we have on the body water, 75% of the water is H2O, so 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 oxygen. When we get the CH3, when it makes contact or interact with the water of the body, releases what hydrogen, which is the energy. So that's what we have energy out of this. We have to understand a little bit of chemistry, how the body works. So, and it's easy, but at the end, says also we said we never give CH3 people who have cancer, because if we energize, we want to energize the body. That cancer, those cancers are part of the body, so as well we energize those cells. So we have to be careful not to give CH3 to people that have cancer, even though those people that have cancer have no energy, they are lack of energy, they are so weak. But we have to address this in different way. So not to give CH3, even though, as I said, they are weak. So we're not giving, because we're giving energy to the tumor cells. So the cells, the tumor cell, the cancer will start growing, will start growing as well. So we have to be careful not to give CH3 to people who have cancer. It's also, we get to give to the people, in order to get energized, plasma food in different ways. We can use a device like this vial with the plasma liquid inside, and as well we can use patches. So we put the food cans inside a patch, that we put them behind and the back on the level of the stomach, 1 CO2 in front of the stomach. So we have a different ways to give food to the body, because the body works in a plasma state. It's so beautiful. The way we see the body now is we don't need to eat anything, because also when the body, once we have any food, when we eat food and it comes to the stomach, the stomach turns every single element that we eat to plasma. We can give another lecture of this and spend hours to explain this. It's a beautiful way to understand this, the body, how the body works right now. And when I give lectures, I explain to people how this nanotechnology is made of, how we create energy, and also the body is the same way. When we start nanocoating any device, any plates or any copper, the way we see that nanocoating, those layers on the nanocoating, is the same way the body is layers. We have layers. We have like a nanocoating cover in every single organ. So we work on a plasma. So if we give in the plasma whatever the body needs, it will get it through the skin. So this is another way to understand. This is we can find this instructions on how to use the plasma, and the CAS Foundation, Facebook, and every member that we joined this CAS Foundation, we see this. We can find this instructions how to use the plasma, and everyone can have it in their home. So the different ways to have a first aid kit instead of a medicine, all that, we can use this. So this is the health unit that I made, that thanks to Mr. Cash instructions, and we all made. A lot of people in the world making this this kind of devices. Anyone can use whatever they want as a structure, but the main thing is the coils that are inside that we were taught by Mr. Cash. So creating an environment, people once are inside, they feel the energy. When I give lectures to people, people say, "Oh yes, energy, okay, peace and love." They feel, because when we talk about energy, people are tired of those way of listening to a lot of people. There's energy and nobody feels anything. Here, you feel the energy. Once you're inside that environment, you feel tingling, heat, energy going through all your body. So we use this body. This person has to be inside. A special this a time depends on what kind of diseases. But once you are inside, as I said, not because you are inside of this unit, you will heal yourself and say, okay, or change the whole body. It will help you. will help you to have the elements that you need. We have normally in this unit on the bottom, what is standing up on the bottom, has a coil mixed with Ganso, filled with Ganso copper oxide and zinc and CO2 on the bottom. In the middle, that comes to the whole body, is a gas of CO2, and on the top is zinc. The wires are zinc, the plasma batteries are zinc, made of zinc, and the GANs that are used is zinc that controls the emotions. So we have to understand that the 80% of the energy that the body needs, it comes through the skin or through the breathing. And 20% of that, of the energy, so 100% of the energy that the body needs, 80% comes through the skin or through the breathing, and 20% comes through the food. But that 20% of that food also, we change it in plasma and energy. So once we understand this technology and see it is so different way to treat the patient. So if we receive that energy through the skin or through the breathing, so when we create that environment, we've given the body the elements they need. As I said, this technology imitates or replicates the effects of the sun. So how many times we said, oh, we need the sun in order to survive, because we give not just only that the sun helps us to synthesize the vitamin D, but it gives the elements that the body needs, is bombarding in a nice way the body with the elements, with the proteins that the body needs, amino acids that the body needs, as I said, the carbon, oxygen, the nitrogen, and the hydrogen. That's what we need from the sun. So we create this environment that we can give it the elements that the body needs. And we can put, as I said, we can create any other elements. As I said, the body is made of 27 elements. We can create those elements. The body needs those elements. We can create it as a plasma and give it to the body. So this is a different devices also that we made, thanks to the Mystic Case teaching, that we have two rings. There's two tubes, one inside the other one. So the inner two has a different gas than the other one. Normally it has a zinc, so it's also a mix of zinc, gas of zinc and CO2. So just this liquid can change the body, can give the elements to the body in order to start repairing itself, changing, bring miracles, I would say. This is so beautiful, this technology. Just people just standing inside for minutes or an hour. Sometimes has to be inside 1 hour, 2 times a day. What it does is, it's not that, some people ask me if I stayed all day inside that environment, it will change all that be able to repair everything. No, it has to be in gaps or in certain times, because what we're doing with this is retraining the environment. What happened here? What happened in the environment? We have so much pollution in the environment. They create so much imbalance in your body. They start making diseases. We have so much pollution or problems or poisons on the food that we eat, and we have so much chemicals and everywhere, so much pesticides, so much things that causes an imbalance in the body, start creating diseases. So this environment inside is created a nice and beautiful environment. So the body has to remember how to work or function normally. So the same way the body creates diseases, the same way we have to retrain the body, retrain the brain to do the opposite, to repair itself. The body has the ability, the skill, to repair itself. The same way as we cut ourselves, we have a little injury in the skin and it heals and have form scars. The body can change every part of the body, even the brain tissue. We don't, as a doctor says, brain tissue cannot be regrown. We have proven many times that the brain tissue, the neuro tissue can regrow everything. We can regrow any part of the brain, any part of the nerves. We can change everything. We have proven, and we have many cases, and I invite people to be involved in this technology and attend the meetings of a lot of students all over the world giving lectures in any country, in any language. We can find now this technology. We have no barriers, no limitations to understand, because there's a lot of people all over the world teaching this this beautiful technology in every single language. So you can find that. So that's what we want, bring a different environment to the body. And as I said, we have a beautiful person in the group of doctors, that this person from Austria, Klaus de Trev. He can see energy. So he asked me to show him these devices, and he saw that energy around the environment, around these devices. And the one is, you see on the left side, the energy that creates is like a toroid field, but also the energy goes from your back and forth in your body. So it changes. In the other one, it creates a vortex, but it changes. The way the left one, we have in the in front of the people, the person, and in front of those rings or those coils, we have a sea salt container that, as the gravity pulls the energy that the body has to release, they have to get rid, so it pulls it. In the other one, the right side, which is the vortex, it creates vortex connected to Earth. So whatever the body has to get rid, it goes to Earth. So it's a different way. And we're working as a group everywhere, everybody, a lot of people around the world making those devices in order to bring this balance to people. All this technology belong to you, belong to all the world. Whoever creates any of those devices, as I said, no one as the way we used to see the way of living the system, that when somebody creates something, they're going to make a patent and keep it to herself and make money. The beauty of this technology, or the beauty of the heart of Mr. Gas, that he created all this technology, he creates all this, he patented this, all this. Whoever wanted to do something related to plasma is already patented, that he gave it to whole humanity. So whoever builds something related to plasma belong to humanity. There's no more that, oh, it's mine, it's mine, I created, and I'm gonna make money out of that. No, all this technology belongs to humanity. So whoever creates something, they post it on Facebook, they post it in different websites, in order to people have access to this technology and start to replicate it, start changing. So this technology is for you, for everybody. Nobody owns this technology. You own this technology, you, humanity. Thanks to Mr. Cash, it gives a gift to give us to us. So we have to take advantage of this technology to change the whole world. So this technology, one, are inside, creates an environment, creates a different field. So what it does is it creates a field that brings balance to the body. When we talk about plasma, plasma always try to bring balance in the universe and in the body. The body is the whole galaxy. So whatever happened in the body is the body is trying to bring balance in order to change that spot in the body this having the disease. So we create a different environment using different gens to change the body, either adding something that your body needs or removing. So as I said, creating the balance. If the body is a lack of something, like let me have an example. If you have like a knee problems, you're waiting for your knee, the cartilage of your knee are almost gone. You have a little bit of cartilage, and you're waiting to have a knee replacement. If we have a little piece of that cartilage, once we bring that environment around the knee, brings those elements, it can repair itself. We don't need surgeries. In the future, we won't need any surgery. Surgeries we need, with this technology, we can remove anything. With this technology, we can repair anything. We can bring anything as a plasma. We don't need pills. We don't need injections. We don't need surgery. In the future, it's gone. All this gonna be different. But we're working. we're working together in order to bring this technology to all the people. We're testing. A lot of people, or humanity, is the way they see this. They want to see something now. When we present a new technology, they wanted the results right away. We're learning, everyone. We have a group of doctors, and we expanded this group everywhere in the world. We're learning how to use the technology, and we use it, and we start seeing results. And as soon as somebody has results, they post it. That's a website that you can see the experience of people using this technology. So we're learning. So we invite you to use it and share whatever you change, whatever you have any change in your body or experience it in your body. Share this experience. We want to share. We want everyone to share any experience they have had with this technology. That's what we want to do. Bring something for humanity. So this is it. So, and also, as I said in the list of things that we use, or the protocol that we use on the patients, the last one is CO2 GAN samples. We are in trials to using CO2 GAN samples and different diseases like severe conditions, cancer with severe condition that they cannot stand inside of this unit. They cannot come to the or they cannot build any of those the devices. So we have this new way of treating this patient, and we start to have a beautiful result using CO2 GANs water, even in patients with HIV, malaria, Ebola, condition that we thought there was no cure for this, or no, but now we can bring balance to the body, so the body can change, the body can repair, the body can reconstruct itself. So that's what we do, bring balance to the body. There's nothing else. I don't do anything. The technology is only give you the elements that your body needs in order to repair itself. That's what we do. That's what it does. Well, I have to understand 96% of your body is made of carbon and oxygen. So given those elements, so the body starts changing this environment. So now back to the patient, not to the patient who has plasma, but I always like to explain to people how this technology works in the body, so they will understand how we can have this result. So this is a patient who had a breast cancer, a big, huge tumor. So first of all, we have to analyze the emotions. When we have breast cancer, first of all, we ask which is involved, the left one or the right one. The left one is connected to the childhood, to the mother, to the children. Why? Because this is a breast that mostly the women give breastfeeding the baby, or we are connected to a mother with a breast left. Yes, we give them women breastfeeding for both, but most of the time most of the time they're given for the left side. So the left side is connected to the mother, is connected to the child. And when you have some issues, when your mother or with your child, you have the connection, which is the breast, is that one is connected to the emotions, to the love of that person. And when you have issues, some problems with them inside your brain, you create something that want to get rid of that connection. You want to cut that connections that connections with your mother or with your child, with your children. You want to have, and what is that connection? Your breast. That's why your brain says, okay, I had the breast that's connected to my mother, is connected to my child. I'm going to get rid of that connection, which started to make that cancer. So the body, the same way the brain create the diseases, the same way we can do the opposite. When we treat the emotions, the same way we're gonna reconstruct that breast. So in the right side is connected to the partner. But I want to take advantage of this presentation to understand more to explain a little bit more about the breast. How important is the breast? We know that we have five sense of organs. We know the size, We use the eyes to decide for sight. So we have the ears to hearings. We have the mouth for taste. We have the nose for smelling, and we have the skin for touch. But we forgot we have another sense, organ sense. This is the sixth one. It's not just only for women; it's for everyone. The organ that controls the emotions is the breast. The breast is connected to the emotions, like having, even a woman and man has a big antenna. We have that big antenna, and we control the emotion. Now, as I said, I'm going to give another example how to support this. That the breast is a big antenna that picks all the emotions. If you watch soap opera, or you're watching any movie, you're looking at that movie or the TV forward facing the TV. So all the emotions come to the breast and feel that energy. I invite you to watch the same soap opera or any movie on your side, not facing that TV. You see the effect is totally different. You don't facing, you're not receiving that energy straight to the body. So you're on your side, or you cover with metal or aluminum, some of the breast, you will see the effect is totally different. You don't see that, you don't feel the same way, because the emotions come through the breast. We have to understand the whole body works so different. So back to this patient, I'm sorry, but I'm getting excited every time that I talk about this technology. I'm so excited to explain to all the people. They're so beautiful. So, and these people, and as I said, to all the people patient who have cancer, we do a blood test to determine what kind of metals are high in the blood. And the one we find higher, that's the one who's been involved in the cancer. That will be the seed of the cancer. To understand why, once we understand the magnetic gravitational field energy, so how can I explain that the tumor is growing? Because something is pulling the cells, something is pulling energy. So people with cancer don't die because of cancer. People die because of the lack of energy. They don't have energy, so the tumor pulls all the energy. That's what people die, because they have no energy. So there's something inside the tumor, something inside that cancer that pulls all the energy. And in this plasma technology, we name that pulling as a gravitational. It has a strong gravitational field that's pulling the energy. So we have to create a different environment outside the body in order to change that strong field of energy inside of the body. So once we understand, or we know what kind of metal, so the metal is energy is pulling, so we make GANs of this metals, whatever it is. So in this case, is the calcium that was involved. But I've seen breast cancer that have arsenic involved in the tumor. Some other people who have lead, or some other have had mercury. So whatever metal we found that is involved in this tumor, we have to create GANs in order to create a different environments. Once we do that, so in this case, I'm going to explain. This case was, as I said, this is the kinds of example of metals that we have to find. Those are going to be the seed of the cancer. In this case, was calcium. So if we have calcium, the way we do to make calcium is easy. It's once we have chicken bones, little pieces of chicken bones. Once you cook your chicken, you eat it, and you have the bones. Don't throw them away. Just take them, cut them in little pieces, and then because they're too hard, put them in vinegar. Boil them in vinegar 4 or 5 times until it gets a little jelly. Once you get jelly, get rid of the vinegar and put the caustic, and then boiling water, and that reaction start to create the different layers, or start to nanocoat it, to energize those molecules of the bone. So we put them on the caustic. Let's teach, and there's a lot of teachers. You are interested to make GANs or any food or any elements. Go and find it. You will see any of those teaching on the YouTube and catch knowledge seekers workshop. You can find anything. All the instructions are to make any GANs of anything. So this one, so we have that the bones, after we put them on the with caustic and water, we leave it for 6 days. After 6 days, we start to rinse it with distilled water to clean out that caustic, that salty, that alkaline solutions. Once we get rid of that, we add CO2 against water. After 24 hours, we have calcium of GANs of calcium. This is the way to do it, and this is the way to do the same way to do GANs of food or GANs of whatever you want to do. So this is a process to do it. Once you have water GANs, you put them inside the patches. This is an example. You can put inside anything, any elements, any plasma inside of that, and create the elements. So once we have, in this case, the calcium, we create different fields with 2 patches that we put them on that size. In this case, which is a big, huge cancer, we put 1 patches on the size of the tumor, which is on the left breast on the right sides. So we put the strongest the strongest patches on the right side and the weakest on the left. What does it mean, the strongest and the weakest? Stronger, we put 3 times, like that's an example. Once we create this plasma, we put them inside the patches. We're going to put like a 9 millimeters on the right side, which is in the left side, 1 milliliter, which is the ratio 3 to 1. So 3 9 millimeters in the right side, 1 in the left side. So that environment creates an environment interaction that those fields will bring balance. So we have the calcium inside, and we have calcium different strength of calcium outside. So stronger on one side and weak, very weak on the other side. So it creates a magnetic gravitational field in between, and it brings that balance. Will change the environment that seed inside, and little by little that seed starts blending in that environment, and it disappears or becomes part of the body. So because normally the body has calcium, but in the normal concentration, it changes that environment. The same way, if we have a small breast, if it's not a big breast, but it has a small breast, it's a small tumor, we can put the patches, the higher concentration on the back, on the breast level, and the less concentration in front. So we create an environment like this incredible. There's energy that goes in between that brings whatever is involved inside, it blends to that energy field of those elements, and they change the environment. The same way, if we want to repair, we want to add something, we can use the same way, patches in different concentration, and bring the elements inside the body in order to change. So this breast, as you see, as we started to use, I'm sorry, but I warn you that those are graphic, those photos. So you're not used to see this, but I'm sorry to show you this photos, but this is the only way to show how this technology. So we see this cancer, very aggressive, that has had infections, that destroyed a lot of tissue inside. So in the body the cancer start growing, but also start rejecting all this tissue. And it's sad to see that cancer, they lose terrible, start growing. And this patient, I know when we saw the doctor, nobody wanted us to touch it, nobody wanted us to eat. They was taken to the hospital because they were afraid of this. So the doctors says, no, nobody can want to touch this. No one had any practice or experience to moving all this kind of tissue, so nobody wanted to touch it. Thanks God, nobody touched it, because we keep putting this patient inside inside of this environment, and we start seeing the effect. The body started to grow so big, and it started pieces of those tissues starting to come off of the body. When the patient rejected pieces of those calcium, when this person started to reject pieces, and that those little pieces were inside the very heart, the calcium inside. But every time she rejected that little pieces, it stopped bleeding. So that's why we have to give in blood transfusion to this person. And every time she went to the hospital, they were so they don't want to do anything on this person. They don't want. I'd ask them to make a biopsy, and nobody wanted to make a biopsy. So you see that the tissue, all the tissue, the cancer that was growing on the left side, and see that was dying after being involved in this environment. So the person, the body, the immune system starting to reject to get rid of that tissue and to get it start to shrink it. That shrinking of that tissue, because it's that a lot of the breast tissue was destroyed inside, so that's why that shrink of that tissue. But so I asked the doctors, we have to go with 5 different doctors because nobody wanted to do a biopsy because they said it's a cancer. They don't need to spend time making a biopsy, but we insisted until we find a doctor who was willing to do a biopsy. Okay, they wanted to prove me that still the cancer, though they made a biopsy. And we also, here we have a CT scan. There was reduction of the tissue and also the lymph or the node lymphs, because at the beginning when she had that pre-cancer, they have lymph nodes everywhere. They were so big, and when she went through all this this environment, this technology, every part of the body will start changing. So we finally were able to make a biopsy of this tissue, and we find that was a fiber connected tissue with extensive coagulative necrosis. And it comes with section of the mass biopsy shows granulation tissues associated with extensive coagulative and calcification, which is highly suspicious for tumor necrosis. The adjacent viable tissue shows granulation tissue, stromal fibrosis, and collections of histiocytic and mixed chronic inflammatory cells. No evidence of viable tumor seen on the current biopsy. There was no tumor anymore. There was just this destruction of all the tissue because of that tumor, but there's no cancer. The cancer was gone. It's just we working on these patients to keep this environment so the body is still changing. We're still using this technology to change the environment. This patient. But also I said to the person that if we need a surgery, we have to wait at least 6 months to get all this tissue softened, and then we can start changing. There's many ways to reconstruct this breast, but still we're using this technology. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer. I'm gonna stop sharing and open to all of you. Do you have any questions?
Okay, let me remind the viewers that if they have a question, they can put their hand up, and I could promote you to a panelist where you can use your microphone. I think your microphone's off, Mr. Kesh. So.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, I'm back again. As I said, thank you very much, Dr. Rodriguez. This was a very impressive presentation, and it actually shows what the technology is about. We have to understand that this is not the only way that the breast cancer shows itself. We have those who are internal, and are caused and somehow created internally, and they lead to the same thing. We don't see the tumor, but at the end, as has been said, are cause and the end of life, what we call termination of physicality at the state we are. There is a number of things which has been raised here. You got to understand, this process took about 60 to 90 days from the start to beginning. On the other hand, we don't see any secondary cancer in the body at this moment, as far as we understand. It shows there is no need for operation, there is no need. Once you elevate the soul of the man, the emotion of the man in respect to his soul, the body will take his position. It's what we said. Our features are decided by our emotion in respect to the energy of the soul of the man. There is something which I keep on repeating, and has been repeated by Dr. Rodriguez the same, and that is, there has been a massive misunderstanding about the position of soul of the man, and this misunderstanding has led into a lot of problems. In the present life or present time, we imagine this is the body of the man and his soul is somewhere up here. We have thought that this is the position of our soul. So we have nothing to do with it. It's something outside us. But with the present knowledge and what we have gained, we now understand the soul of the man is within the center of the brain of the man. That's why your soul as a source, as the center of the energy, as the sun of the life, takes place inside the body, and as you create different filters around it, you dictate, in reality, different physicalities. It is somehow not up to now fully understood, and if you're a physician and you can look at the MRIs you're given nowadays, look much more closer. You find the position of the soul of the man in the center of the brain of the man, in the bottom part of it. And this we will explain very soon, how the brain of the man is created. As we go in more depth of the knowledge, we open the pieces which has been hidden to the man, and this will change a lot. So what happens, this is the position of the soul, and your emotion takes around it. And in that position, your emotion in its time and interaction will lead to what you call the physical manifestation of the physicality of man in his emotional part and in respect to his physicality in replication in the body of the man. We see the hands and the fingers on the side of the ear. We see upper arms on top of the brain. We see everything to do with the shoulder and everything else which grows inside. This has been one of the mysteries of the creation, where man thought his soul is outside his body. But in fact, the soul of the man, the operation, the essence of the creation of the man is within the center of the brain of the man. And in that position allows the field to be affected by the emotion, that emotion reflects in the physicality of the man. And now we understand how we lead ourselves into our cancers. You got to understand that every cell of the body of the man carries emotional part as much as it does the physical part. So this has been part of what we see and how we change the condition, because all we do as present people is we change the filtering thickness. If you change the strength of the filter, you increase its strength. At the lower strength, there is no cancer to be created. And that's how you disarm the body from its own tools of destruction of itself. In so many places, in so many ways, once man understands this, a lot of things comes to order. In the present part of the understanding, you call it different chakras. Now you understand how what you call the energy points are controlled by the body of the man itself. And then you understand what you imagine to be a chakra above your head, an energy point where you call the position of the soul is within the center of the body of the man. And this is what is important to all of us. For the first time, we can position our soul. If you translate or redefine soul as the center of the energy of the creation of the entity of the physicality of the man, then you understand it's easier to define creation. It's easier to interact with the creation. There is not a mystery that is there, something that leads to our creation. The sun is in the center of the solar system. We don't see the sun outside, that it creates the earth and the other planet. How can it be any different with the body of the man? But in this structure, the soul of the man sits within the structure of his own sun. And if we look at the whole structure of the brain of the man or any animal, we see it. We want it to be mysterious, but in fact is the essence of. As it radiates out, it leads to our creation. If you put it together in a different way, there is no difference between the sun and the body of the man. The sun sits in the center and radiates out equally, so does the soul of the man. And in due to massive amount of material which we have fitted around it, we have created a much faster reduction in the fields of it. And this is what you have. And in that rapid reduction, you read to better, faster physicality. If you look at the sun, as the rays goes out, the higher, the further, and wherever it goes, the plasma of the sun leads to creation of physical part. The earth, Saturn, Venus, and in the energy transfer from the center with the shell of its fields, we call it the solar system. So is the body of the man. The brain has become the filter. Here, the mass of the filter is very less. So the slowing down of the fields is much lower. So the expansion of the size and the boundary of the physicality. In the brain of the man, the physicality is different, where actually the filtering is much stronger, much compacted fields, so you see the physical structure. There is no difference in the world of creation. And this is what now we can interact. Now we feed the emotion, and by feeding the emotion, we change the filter strength from what was to be sadness to joy. Now we understand that every emotion has a field strength. It gives and it takes. And now we can change it. What is pain to me is not pain to somebody else. It could be joy. Now, with this knowledge, we can decide to change. And that change, because the strength changes, it changes the field in respect to what's created, disappearance of the cancer. All we do, we continuously surround the body and enter the body fields of plasmatic condition that the body takes its position to elevation of its own magnetic field of the emotion and change of the cancer. This can be any disease. If you understand this, then you understand in the coming time, when the man travels into deeper space, is the strength of the fields which he creates around his soul will dictate the shape of the man in a deeper space. Then we become the chameleon of the space. In a way, through the process of the health section, we open the door to the reality of the creation in the universe. These, at the moment, are very, very much what it is, the present limited understanding of the man in respect to his own life. But what we have done, we have used in centuries and thousands of years herbs, materials which could affect. In the recent past, we increased the knowledge into the hand of those who could compact it. We have called them the pharmaceuticals, and we have called them different names, tablets, injections, and anything else we like, to only affect the physicality. We never understood that the emotion of the man is connected to zinc. In totality, once we understood this, it changes the course. Now we can change the strength of the emotion with physicality, according to what we put in. In this week's teaching on Thursday, when is a general public teaching, I'll explain this more. And then we understand more how some of us become vegetarian, some of us become meat eaters, and how our life changes according to amount of energy which we absorb. It'll be very interesting. We open a new dimension in teaching on Thursdays, and you will understand. What has happened to us in the past few decades is that we have given our trust of our world of health into the hand of what we call man of science. And the man of science, according to what the financial backers have said, have cheated, have depleted the life of the man in a way. It says my internet is unstable. Can you hear me, Rick?
Yes, Mr. Keshe,
Yeah, okay.
It sounds pretty good.
Okay, so now in past decades, we have given our trust in the hand of people who have managed to control the legislation and push anything they like to affect our physicality. We call them pharmaceuticals. In fact, they have been helpful, but in so many ways, all the medicine we have is one way. It treats the physicality without understanding why the emotion has come into play. One of these cases which we strongly oppose in the use of medication is what we call the beautiful people, or what you call schizophrenic. World of medicine has never understood that the world of schizophrenic is world of two entities within the body of one man. We always call them the twins because we could see them, because they had two physicalities. We call them Siamese twins, which they share part of the physicality, but because of our own lack of understanding, we never understood that the two souls can live within one body that can share the body. In totality, in the world of creation, we call them the twin stars. When we look at the twin star, we don't look at two individual stars. We look at the collective effect of that entity in its environment. So, in so many ways, if the world of medicine ever understood this, would have never created any medication for a schizophrenic, because they know it does not work. Because they understood that they have understood nothing in reality about the world of creation, that there are two souls within the structure of one physical body. No medication can change unless you bother one and you elevate the strength of the emotion in one that affects the emotion of the other. If the man of medicine could understand there are two entities within the body, or three entities within the body of the man you call a schizophrenic, you will never give him a medicine. You ask his name. What does he want to be known as? How does he want to represent himself? And you'll find out you speak to different souls, which they have different language, and they dress different, and they react different, and they show different emotion within the physicality of the body they carry jointly. This is the lack of understanding of the man, which we create medicines for the things we don't understand, and then because of our lack of understanding, we enforce it with castration, with imprisonment, and putting these people behind and into institutes which we should be in there, not them, because in reality we never understood the totality of the creation. We are too physical and we don't understand. So maybe with these teachings, as is cancer, we have become, through our medicine, the cancer of life of these people who are in entity, the twins, the triplicates. We have to see it to believe it, and speak to them the language they understand. You'll have a speak on to 2 or 3 souls which are confined within the same body. How this happens, I have taught many times. But at the same time, as the pharmaceuticals have created their own way of control that nobody else can afford to do it, they have brought in clinical trials that we kill more to prove more how ignorant of the knowledge of creation we are. At the present clinical trials, when you want to introduce something new, you create different animals. You give birth or allow animals to be created, born, and then you infect them with the diseases which is bothering you, and you're too chicken to do it yourself. You give it to the mouse, to the rat, and then you'll see what it does to them. And then you say, because 99% of the body of the whatever animal is close to the man, so we can barely or maybe use it for ourselves. But on the other hand, the man never understood that the creation of the amino acids from the atmospheric part of the body of the planet has led to creation of the man, and that is why all the animals have so much closeness, because man up to now never understood, as we've explained in many teachings, that is made out of 3 parts of this beautiful planet we call Earth. It has its gaseous part, it has its liquid part, and it has its solid part. And the amino acid of the body of the man comes from the gaseous part. And that is why most of the animals on this planet are so close to each other, because modern science never understood that us, totality of the life on this planet, depends on this. Because water is made of the gaseous part, which is the carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen are the common elements. Then how they configure and interact with the metal part or the liquid part environment, what we call the solid surface of this planet, leads us to different kind of creation. On Thursday, I'll explain very clearly about even how all the animals created under condition of certain strength have the same features. Why the man, the cat, the lion has 2 sections of brain, and how he comes to have 2 legs, 2 arms, and everything else, or you become a bird, the feathers, the wings, and the legs. For the first time, I'll disclose this understanding that the man understands more about himself, how he attains his physicality, and understanding this, how he'll attain physicality in different dimensions when he enters the universal community. In this process of understanding the structure, the present pharmaceutical creates another headache for us, with, in a way, pushing humanity to the verge of absolute insanity. This insanity is, why do we have to kill so many animals for us to be sure that when we use something, we are so covered, it won't damage us. I said some time ago, if the condition of testing needs to see what is good for us, every single restaurant, every single takeaway should have a FDA certificate that the food has been tested on the mouse and has killed no one. But we don't do that. We decided that wherever there is a lot of money, we attach to it physicality of health control. Nobody controlled my grandparents and my great-grandparents of a generation when they were the medicine man. Now it makes a lot of sense to make a lot of money, and we put it under control of what we call pharmaceutical control. And nowadays, even if you want to eat a mint, you have to have a certificate from the shop that it's a mint and what the FDA does with it. For this reason, to comply with the present regulations that the material is safe and shuts in a way a lot of criticism on the Keshe Foundation, we collaborated with a scientist in Tokyo. The original testing was to show that these materials which we use, which is a copy of the structure of the universe we call GANs, which is the packs of energy, are not toxic. They don't harm us. Because there has been a lot of criticism that these things are this and that. So we start step by step, element by element, to find out which one has which effect. So we started what we call the clinical phase 1, which is for toxicity. And we'll see this test done by the scientist himself in laboratory of the Tokyo University. And he will present the paper. This paper is fundamental. It will be the cornerstone of all the application of what we call CO2 and zinc oxide. We need to do many of these toxicity, but by energy level transfer and not by killing animals. As I said, before we start this part, we bless the soul of those animals which intrude in their souls for our own weakness and cowardness in testing it on ourselves. As I said before, when we lose those who lose their lives on the line to protect our lives, in the military term, we stand by the flag and we stand silence. We do the same with the football players who served us and gave us pleasure. Maybe it's time to stay silent for the soul of the animals we sacrifice to prove to these ridiculous conditions of what we call medical control. I ask you to stay silent for a minute and we come back. And then we start the presentation by one of the most sincere scientists I know, one of the most highly intelligent people I know, and one of the most honest men I've known on this planet. Stay silent for 1 minute, please. Thank you very much. If you were with us here in this room, you would have heard something very strange. Even the church bells start ringing. Very strange. The Creator is with us, the non-time control. Let me introduce you to the scientist. Most of you know him. You have met him. You have seen some of his presentation. He's one of the leading scientists of the Japanese University of Tokyo. He is the man who took the Keshe Foundation into TEPCO. He's the man who collectively worked with the Keshe Foundation in eradicating the conditions and the problem we saw with TEPCO. And what all he got was to be sacked from his job because he released the name of TEPCO to Keshe Foundation, but it needed a man of intelligence to understand why they are carrying so much tests. It wasn't for Mr. Mickey Mouse in Tokyo, it was for TEPCO because they had problem in nuclear reactors. You've seen Mr. Canson before presenting it. He has done in collaboration with TEPCO, what we call with Tokyo University, as he was one of their excellent senior students in the past. He did most of the examination, the testing, with supervision of the scientists in TEPCO, in Tokyo University. And this paper, because we financed what was there from our side, was done by him. And he has delivered a beautiful papers which was read and approved by the professors on the phase 1, phase 2. And what we have seen is been such a rapid perfect results that we decided to publish the third paper as it is, because what we saw as a result confirms the correctness of the technology in eradicating cancer in one go. Usually we spend months to see the result. With this technology and use of the GANs materials in the data which will be presented to you scientifically, shows does not need months, does not need uncertainty. The results indicates and shows that in the case of intestine cancer, which can apply the same to stomach and large intestine, we have seen 100% reduction in all cancers with the animals tested, and 5 of the 10 animals were sacrificed, and the data showed no toxicity. I do not see any reason for the other 5 to be sacrificed. This is enough. In that case, and because of the situation we have now in Tokyo University, we have written the final paper done by the scientists who's done it. What I ask Mr. Snow to do for us is to present every paper today step by step. Trial phase 1, full information delivery. Those of you who have come from governments, we respect you. And those of you who come from pharmaceuticals, you will learn something new. Those third world nations who could not afford and cannot afford 150,000, 200,000 chemotherapy, your nation can achieve the same result with less than $1. But with most probably high guarantee that the cancer will not come back. Because with this technology, you have sorted the root of it, which is emotion in most of cases. I'm going to go quiet. I invite our sincere partner in development to take over. You all know him. He has given us a couple of lectures before. And he will tell us step by step. I have asked him to explain the production system, how he produced the material, that you as governments and as citizens can produce it yourself, and you have to understand there is a disclaimer. This is what we have seen. This is data scientifically approved, has been collected. I feel sorry for pharmaceuticals with all the chemotherapy from today, but I'm very rejoiceful because I know they didn't work. They give you time lap of life sentence between 5 to 10 years, or maybe a little less, maybe a little more. This is our finding. This is what we see is the responsibility of every individual to decide themselves. We teach you the method how to make the material because we are strong and we know this brings us benefit in elevating the soul of humanity. In this process, everything will be explained in detail. We allow governmental, we know they're sitting from different nations in the background. We allow scientific organizations to ask and put questions directly to us. This is your right. But what we don't allow is for you to foreclose on this technology, because the technology belongs to humanity and is a gift from Keshe Foundation to world population. This time, we don't make a mistake of the past. This time, we work directly in sharing the knowledge through the hand of the scientist. We're going to carry on with trials which you or pharmaceuticals wants to do, and our resources at Keshe Foundation and our scientists are and will deliver this directly to all of you. Which means if you are a member of the pharmaceutical and you want to be as part of the work, it is your job to join us on the Keshe Foundation website, which we have developed, and is called Câncer processing.org. You can go in there and go to the bottom of the page, and what you will see is that there are two links. One link is connected to those individuals who want to carry on with the process of the cancer. The other one is for pharmaceuticals and governments. We release the knowledge fully. There are some we cannot disclose here, as we did before, that you can rapidly develop these things in the background. We know government officials from a number of African nations are in the background. We respect you, and this is a gift to Africa. This directly to understand to all of you. Simplicity of the which technology. Means if you are a member of the pharmaceutical, will deliver these products across Ghanaian territory in the coming weeks at the disposal of the nation. And the government will tell us how they want to handle it. There should be no cancer in Ghana in the next 12 to 18 months. Those who are connected to the emotional part of the body of the man. We release these technologies because it's the right of the man to be free from the shackles of the control. I said to our supporters very recently, in these pages we see the cancer touching the physicality of the man, and we are giving the knowledge freely. In the present environment, what we have discovered and what we are sharing worth trillions. With this opening, we hope the other cancer which is sitting with a man, which is sitting with the financial world, will respond the same. We call upon people like Bill Gates to open the funds for development. We know other people who are sitting there. This is the challenge. You wanted to bring vaccination. Now Keshe Foundation Technologies has disposal of man for cancer. The reserve cash in Bill Gates fund, what we call foundation in Netherlands, we know of. We talk to them. Open it up for humanity, and we'll see there'll be no cancer. If you are the true man of your word. We know other people who are serving the same. We ask you to open your wealth to humanity, not to Keshe Foundation. Allow these technologies to open up rapidly, that we get rid of the cancer of the financial control, because a healthy man does not need any healthcare. On the other hand, we see a number of nations leaders controlling the pharmaceutical for the control of nations, and mainly this sits with the kingships. In the countries where there are kings, we see they control the pharmaceutical to the benefit. We call for the end of kingship too, because the man has to be free from the cancer of kingship. All men are equal. Our wish is our command, and we shall see very, very soon the end of the kingships across Europe and the rest of the world. This is the wish of the supporters of the Keshe Foundation, and shall be done. We challenge the richest men in the world to open their wealth to serve humanity the true way through the Keshe Foundation works and other agencies who work like us, not to benefit themselves in the front and be charitable in the back.